Welcome to the big show.
He could go all the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
What's going on? What's going on, man? I am Chris Cousins, and we are live today in Pressbox Studios for episode 15 of the Rundown, powered by the PFA in the Players Football Association. With me, as always, my partner in crime, to my right or my left, whichever one you're looking at, my man Brian Mitchell. What's going on, Brian?
Not much, man. What's going on, Chris?
Man, nothing much. Hope everybody had a great week and had a beautiful weekend. That being said, the Rundown would like to thank everybody who has been supporting us over the season, and we appreciate your continued support as we learn to grow this platform to what we want it to be the best in the nation as far as professional advancement football across the nation. So we appreciate your support. We're going to be on Facebook Live, continuing the rest of the season to further build the platform, but we will still be posting on YouTube as well. So hope you guys are ready for a great show tonight.
It's packed, man. It is packed tonight. On the show tonight, we have Aaron Sanders, owner of the Flag City Phantoms. He'll be joining us in just a few minutes. The one and only Aaron Sanders, friend of the show. Talk about the rival game this week against Glass City Tigers. Also, we have the owner and defensive player of the Michigan Bills, Mike Anderson, of the Bills Mafia, will join us, and as well as Coach Robert Henderson of Glass City Tigers, aka Hollywood. He'll be on later too. I'm sure he'll talk about the FCP game coming up this Saturday. And Jeff Schick, offensive coordinator of the Racine Raiders, joins us. And lastly, but not least, a friend of the show, Mark Garcia, will join us later on at the end of the show to drop the first of many I75 Bowl Series rankings, Midwest Championship rankings. So stay tuned for that. And man, I'm not even taking a commercial break, man. I'm excited to be here. Episode 15. It's been a short week for me, but a long week still. But how's your week going, man? It's almost the weekend.
Week's been going cool. Summer is upon us. You know what I mean? So glad to see the good weather starting to come in, which means football is in prime time for us. We just finished week 5 in the PFA. We're looking to go into week 6. So we're definitely going to go over the scores and recaps of last week's games, get you guys all caught up on who beat who. And then we're also going to get into the previews of next week's games. And we're going to talk to the guests that we have on tonight actually are going to be in some tough games next week. So we're going to talk to them about that as well. So I know we're supposed to have Aaron on first, Mr. Sanders.
He's not here quite yet. No, I think he's going to be here about 7:15. So, but let's just go right into the week 5 recap.
Sure.
We'll start off with the Detroit Ravens and the Michigan Gators. I thought it was a closer game than it seemed, but maybe not. Ravens pulled this one out 59-34 and stay undefeated. Michigan Gators go 4-1 on the season. Still tied with the Motor City Rams for that second spot, though. So what were your thoughts on that game, Chris?
Well, I mean, it was a crazy game. Michigan Gators came out hitting them in the mouth strong. All right, Gators were up by 2 scores. At one point, we're up by 3 scores. Touchdown got caught back. But the Gators were ahead and were leading very much so all through the first half. But the Ravens did what they always do, stayed resilient, stayed poised, kept fighting, and eventually fought through and got the momentum of the game and then eventually took over the game towards the end of the fourth quarter. So again, hats off to the Gators for putting up a fight, but a game is two halves, and they didn't show up that well in the second half to finish out strong. I tell everybody, when you want something, especially when you want to go at the champ, you can't just go walk in there haphazardly, man. You gotta go in there and take things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they didn't finish strong, and they weren't able to get that loss. But that doesn't say that they won't meet again come playoff time. So this might be some good experience for them up under their belt, playing in that atmosphere. It was a wonderful atmosphere, might I add, that the Ravens were hosting to definitely put on. So shout out to them. I think it was their alumni game. Had a big, huge crowd. So the atmosphere was great for professional events with football this past Saturday with those two teams. But again, the Ravens proved why they're the number one team in the nation in 3A and handled business 59-34.
And Chris, that's been the story all season for the Ravens, even when they see themselves in the not leading in the game, I should say. They come back, and we saw it with the Bison. We saw it with the Gators. So, I mean, that resilience they have is just second to none. And like you said, they stayed poised, came back, made some adjustments, and came out with the win. Mind you, almost a 30-point win. So being down almost 3 scores, coming back to win by 30 is pretty impressive.
Very, very impressive. Next,
we have the Sin City Bucks taking on the Michigan Bills. Sin City's struggling, man. They're struggling as of late, dropping this one to the Bills. Bills Mafia staying strong. Coming back to getting that win.
I mean, it was a gutsy win by the Bills. Again, we talk about the Bills being one of those up-and-coming teams in the PFA, led by owner and player Mike Anderson, doing his thing on the defensive end, and they were able to go in this game and pull it out. Definitely a defensive battle. Both teams were playing great defense, and it came up to who was going to be able to make a play. And the Bills were able to make the plays down the stretch to inevitably give them the win. In this case, in Sin City, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. They have another trip this upcoming week. They're going to have to make another trip to Michigan. And they definitely need to win this game coming up this week. So hopefully Sin City can get it together. They are not looking like the team that we thought they were going to be this year. Taking some tough losses, all close losses, mind you, but losses at the end of the day. Need to stack more dubs and L's. So definitely disappointed that they couldn't perform better than what they did, but hats off to the Bills Mafia for keeping that thing rolling, and they're looking to be a force to reckon with come playoff time. They have a tough matchup coming up this week against the Ravens, so we'll see what they're built with.
Definitely, the Bills have moved up in the rankings, so it's all about playoff seeding at this point now. And that's what the rankings in the PFA matter most about. Obviously the Ravens are holding on to that number 1 spot. I don't see them dropping that number 1 spot unless they lose out the rest of the season by some crazy anomaly, which I don't think is going to happen. So right now it's a dogfight to see who gets that second bye for that week 1 of the playoffs. And right now it's the Gators and the Rams holding it, but those two teams play each other. So, and the Bills are not looking to lose any more games. And we'll talk to Mike Anderson about that later for sure. And I know Aaron said the link wasn't working. Did you get it? I don't know.
But yeah, this game just shows why the PFA is what it is when it comes to having some of the best teams in the Midwest playing in this league. You're not going to – if you go through this league undefeated, you got to be a solid team. You're going to take some L's because you're going to play some competition. You're going to play against some good athletes. You're going to go up against some great coaching. So I'm not surprised by some of these losses, but I am surprised that some of the teams that we were going into this season aren't performing like we thought they were going to.
Right. Especially the Cincinnati Bucks, who were ranked pretty high to be back in the championship game this year. But everybody struggles, so that maybe they'll get their stuff together and finish out the season strong. We'll see week 6 what that brings for them.
Next, we got the Western. When I say Western, I always do that. The Northern Kentucky Wolfpack took on the Kentucky Pirates. This was a outer league matchup. The Pirates tried to come in and play the Wolfpack very hard, but the Wolfpack was able to put together some decent drives and again played stout defense all throughout the game, holding the Pirates to 6, barely crossing midfield most of the game. So definitely shout out to the defense of the Wolfpack for holding it down. And I want to say, Brian, this is their 3rd win in a row.
I believe so.
So they've been ever since they had that inside locker room meeting, they've gone on the 3-game winning streak, and they've been getting players back, getting rid of some cancers, and being able to gel. It seems like as a team, they're going to have a tough opponent coming up here in 2 weeks when they play against the Pit Bulls again. They played them in the preseason and took a loss at home. So they're going to be traveling away for this one. Let's see if they travel well and can get the win there. If they do, that sets them up firmly for that 2nd spot up underneath Flag City Phantoms, who's currently sitting at number 1.
And they take on the Evansville Elite out of the MCFL this weekend. We'll talk more about that later on when we get into the week 6 previews. Glass City Tigers took on the Cincinnati Dukes. Really wasn't much of a game. The Dukes came out and didn't they scored quick and scored often, and they end this one 42-6.
Like they say, scored in bunches. They scored offensively. They scored defensively. They made plays on special teams. I want to give a special shout out to the wide receiver from the Dukes, Mike Clay. He put up a hell of a game against their secondary. The proficiency of it. He had 2 touchdowns. He had 3 receptions for 95 yards. All right. The proficiency in that is ridiculous. All right. That means 2 out of the 3 receptions were touchdowns. I watched the game a little bit. They had to double team him. He definitely is an elite receiver at the 2A level. Best of luck to him on his football journey. But the Cincinnati Dukes came in number 1 and left number 1. I know we're going to talk to Coach Robert here in a little bit. He's going to tell us about the game, but there's really much you can't tell if you saw it. They were outmanned, outcoached, and outplayed. Hopefully the Tigers can get back on the drawing board. This upcoming week is rivalry week for them up against the Flag City Phantoms. So hopefully they can get back on track and get back on the winning ways before the playoffs start for 3A. I will say this. I do know Glass City is facing a lot of injuries. I'm going to ask Coach about that when we get him on. So I know they are waiting for some people to come back. And you always have those problems when you're trying to play next man up. You're going to have some communication problems on offense, maybe misalignments, things of that nature. So things happen. So hopefully they can get those things together and get those guys back healthy, moving along towards the end of the season, getting into the playoffs.
Right. Chris,
this is sad.
We set our hearts on Lima to beat the Tri-State Longhorns from the Tri-Point Football League, and they lose by 2. I mean, I don't have anything to say about this game. I just
like Lima. What do I got to do? This is me. I'm looking directly in the camera into your soul. What do we got to do to get you on the winning side?
Hey, they get a forfeit in a couple weeks, I think. No, maybe not.
I don't want to. I want to win.
That is a win. That is a win. At this point,
it is, but it ain't. And the football players know what I mean by that. I want to win. All right. I want to win. Now, with that being said, we do have some breaking news coming from the Lima Warriors camp. It looks like spoke to the owner, and it looks like they will be letting go coaches Rhett Bowers and Jeff Bowers from the coaching staff and said, and I quote, it was due to coaching detrimental to the team. So looks like they're going to be going back to the drawing board, but that's not a bad thing. Hopefully this galvanizes the locker room to come together. I know they have some other young coaches on the staff that were going to fill in those shoes, and they played the Southern Indiana Bobcats this weekend. And,
tough game, tough matchup.
Might come out with a win. We don't know, but I am pleading with you, Lima. Get a
Viking Riders in the chat, and he said we want one more than we do. They want to win more than we want them to win.
I do, man. I do.
So
I guess because I played against what Lima was. I went against the old Lima. I know the organization. It's a great organization. That's why they've been around so long. This is literally just a really regrowing process that they're going through. They have a lot of young players, but a lot of the young players that they have are hungry. And once they get the right pieces in place, trust me, Lima will be back and popping it again, just like it used to be. So
they have a lot of good
behind them.
They have a few good players that I'm well aware of that I saw play when I lived in Indiana. So they got the talent. They just need to find it. Find that core or whatever. So,
but I mean, you gotta. Hey, listen, somebody's got to go when you give a team its first win in organization history. Somebody's got to go, Brian. I hate to say it like that, but some heads got to roll. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that was sad to hear the outcome of that game. When I was waiting for the score, I was looking forward to putting that.
I was looking forward to it,
first win and having something positive to talk about. But like Viking Rider said, it's hard. They're really young, but they're working their way up. So it takes time.
We're behind you.
We're behind you guys. So hey. Who says that they get new coaches? Lima wins out the rest of the season, wins the championship.
Hey,
Aaron Sanders probably heard me say that.
Brian's bold prediction. For the rest of the
they
season.
beat Flag City in the championship. That's right, Aaron. I said it. He's laughing. He's talking shit to me. I can see his mouth moving.
We got it on tape. That's all I need. We got it on tape.
Last game, I think. Is this the last game?
This was a heartbreaker for me, Brian. This really was.
No, that's not the last game.
It really was a heartbreaker for me because I knew BTA was going in a little bit empty-handed with the loss of their starting quarterback future due to the Achilles.
Yep, torn Achilles. So, I talked to him last week about that.
I definitely knew that they had other, Bulls. They had other people ready to step in. But one thing I try to tell people is, just because you have people ready to step in, that doesn't mean that they're going to fit the continuity of what you already have going on.
Right.
And I guarantee you from some of the plays that I saw, I could see that there was some offensive miscues, some signal calling issues, and just not getting 11 guys on the same page. Defense was playing lights out, but you can only do so much. You can only hold off a team so much of that is of Racine's caliber. They kept it close as long as they could. I promise you they did. The game was very close as long as they could. Losing by 13 is not a defeative stat, but let's just say the game could have been won had certain plays been made. And hats off to Racine again, doing like the Ravens do,
undefeated,
making the right plays and staying resilient under pressure.
Yeah, man. I mean, can't expect anything less from Racine. I mean, they know how to win just like the Ravens do, and they keep winning. And they're a pretty good record against the PFA this year and last year. So, I mean, they know this.
Jeff's going to come on. Jeff's going to come on later. He's been in my inbox this week. He wants to throw shade at us because we didn't pick him. And we've been picking against him for all season. But Jeff, I can't help it. The two teams that you played were really good teams.
Right.
I thought they
we had high hopes. We had high hopes.
I did.
Next game, man. I think this is our last game of the week. The Flag City Phantoms against the Neo Pit Bulls. Man, this was a slugfest at first, and I really thought it was going to come down to the wire. But I know the Pit Bulls had quite a few players get injured, and they ended up playing with like 13 or 14 players by the end of the game.
I'm so glad, Brian, that we made this game the 2A game of the week, because it definitely lived up to billing. If you did not watch the stream, you missed out on a great game. You really did. I was personally there. I was in the press box for the game. Right off the bat, Pit Bulls came out firing on all cylinders. Went up 18 to nothing at one point in time until the Phantoms were able to jump on the scoreboard. Led at half 24-20. And then it was just all Phantoms in the second half. Third quarter, they came out, scored 13 straight unanswered. Eventually took the lead at that point, and it was just a chess match after that. Had a little rain, had some fumbles, interceptions, caused by the weather. But other than that, it was some good, hard-hitting football. I'm proud of both teams. It was clean, wasn't any kind of BS going on. But eventually, the Pit Bulls just didn't have enough manpower. They lost 4 players in the game. One of them happened to be an offensive lineman that they drastically needed at the guard position, Bubba, and they just couldn't recuperate. They had the quarterback and Reggie Rogers was playing both sides of the ball the whole game. So I just give them a shout out just for fighting, man, just for staying in there, because the game was close all the way down into 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It was just an 8-point game, and then some things happened, some scores happened, and you got the final score of what it is right now. But the Phantoms look to stay perfect. They go in next week to face their rival, Glass City Tigers, and Pit Bulls are gonna take a break this week. They get a forfeit win,
a much needed break.
Needed break from going from a gauntlet of 3A teams to the number 1 team in the 2A division. Definitely needed a break. I know Jimmy and the boys are glad about that. They'll try to regroup, get some healing on some of those wounds, and get some of their players back for this playoff run. As funny as it sounds, the Pit Bulls are still in it. So a lot of things can happen in this 2A divisions when the playoffs come around. So I wouldn't be surprised about anything, but definitely take a loss here. Shout out again to the Phantoms for staying perfect on the season.
Definitely. That is our Week 5 recap. We are going to take a short break, and Aaron Sanders will join us right after this.
Hey, y'all, this is Aaron Sanders, owner of the Flag City Phantoms, and you're watching Rundown, baby. Let's go. Yeah!
And we're back. Take it off there. All right. Welcome back to episode 15 of the Rundown. This guest segment is sponsored by Trinity Trifecta, the official uniform provider of the PFA. Our first guest is a member of the number 1 team in the 2A division for the PFA, sitting at 4-0. Because they didn't play that one game they didn't play yet, the Michigan game, so they're still 4-0 in the league. And he's going to be playing in hostile territory this week, and I'm sure he'll tell us how he feels about that. In Toledo against the Glass City Tigers, please welcome Mr. Aaron Sanders to the show this evening. What is up, Aaron? How you doing, buddy?
Good. How y'all doing?
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, how you doing, Chris and Brian? How y'all doing?
Thanks for coming on tonight and joining us, man. Let's dive right into things, shall we? Your thoughts about this past weekend's win over the Neo Pit Bulls?
Yeah, we like you said, shout out to Jimmy and the Pit Bulls, man. I've never, like, all my years, I haven't been playing football like semi-pro for a long time, or professional advancement for a long time. Played college, high school. I never played a team that with that much heart and drive and hunger. they took us to the limit, and it was the. I know I hear a lot of beeping. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
we got you, bro.
Oh, okay,
You're fine.
okay, all
We
right.
hear you.
But yeah,
Now,
like I said,
Aaron, I was at
Pit
the
Bulls.
game. Everybody's on me
Okay.
right now. I see you, Richard. Yeah, Richard, I did pick the Pit Bulls, and I showed up at the game. I spoke to everybody. Okay? I'm not afraid of smoke, all right? But Aaron, to tell you, it was a great game.
But yeah, like
all
I
right?
said,
Great game.
it was
Hats
a
off
great
to both
game.
teams.
I
We knew it would be a
was
great
really
game,
impressed
Aaron.
with my team, man.
Huh?
I think Aaron's
But I
lagging.
was saying damn, I'm lagging.
Yeah, a little bit. That's
Yeah,
why
I must be
Chris is
lagging,
trying
dog.
to. You're good now. I think I hear you better now.
Yeah. But let
All
me
right.
ask you a question.
No.
When you were going up against this game, Aaron, did you expect it to be
Internet.
Did you expect it to be this kind of game, especially in the first quarter? And what adjustments did you guys make at halftime to come out the way you did, being down 4?
Yeah, I expected it. I kept telling our guys, they were like, "Oh, look, they haven't the record." And I'm like, "Bro, they're playing the best of the best. They're in a golf gauntlet. We did the same thing last year. And you just build off of it." Tell my guys we just gotta step up. I told them they're gonna come in here and smack us in the mouth. Simple as that. We had some first quarter, fumbles, stuff that was easy touchdowns, and and then we was down 12-0 and just took over. And like I said, it was a shootout. Half the time, we knew that they were tired, so we just man, we got to put our gas on the pedal. And we found some kinks in that armor, that great defense they got, and that good offense they got. So we found some little things that worked, and we just kept doing it. Run game had about 200 some rushing yards, and we had almost 200 passing. So, we're pretty balanced. We've been pretty balanced for the last 3 weeks.
For sure.
Go ahead, Aaron, coming off the victory last week, how do you guys get back focused to take on the 3A Glass City Tigers this weekend, a rival who's thirsty for a win because they've lost a couple in a row and the last one to the Cincinnati Duke. So they're looking for that win. How do you guys get refocused to focus on them?
Last year, we've been playing them, but played them twice last year. We lost every single one. We did a lot of talking on social media. We had players. Mark Garcia stepped up. We all stepped up and hey, man, stay off social media. We doing nothing but business this week, man. Guys want to talk. We just letting them talk, and they're really not even saying nothing either. So we're just, we're ready to ball out. We
Aaron, all right, Aaron.
and
yeah, your connection is great. It's great, Aaron. It's great.
He's in that soccer mom
I don't
van.
know why, man. I'm on the road.
He's in a soccer mom van.
But no, I was saying we gave everybody till Sunday to get out their game about the Pit Bulls. Monday morning it started. Offense already had the game plan ready. Defense doing their meeting tonight. We're ready. Like I said, this year we worry about the team that we play every week. One game at a time. We're not looking at the championship. We're not looking at playoffs. We're not looking at Racine. We're taking it 1 week at a time, man. So that's something we did real good this year on. So.
Well, before I let you get up out of here, Aaron, I got Coach Rob Henderson coming on next after you, so I'm gonna ask him the same thing. What do you think are going to be some of the keys to victory coming up this week against GCT?
It start with the big boys, O-line, D-line. Like I said, our O-line and D-line been playing phenomenal all the way up to the Dukes game. They played great, both sides, and those big guys. They control the game, control everything. They're doing good. I don't think nobody can beat us. We know the GCT, they're aggressive. I told Henderson they're aggressive as hell. They got that heart. They got that dog in them. You can't let them get, you can't let them get no air, man. You got all gas. So we're just looking for a good, hard-hitting, clean game. And I know they're gonna bring it. So we just got to do the same thing we did last week and the last 2 weeks and just keep building off our momentum.
Right.
Well, Aaron, I do appreciate you for taking time out your schedule. I know you're a busy man. You got everything going on. You're starting the new venture of the advertisement, Olympia. Am I saying it correctly?
Olympus Graphics.
Olympus, okay.
Graphics.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Olympus Graphics. I know you just started that, so you got a lot on your plate. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot on your plate. So we're gonna let you get up out of here. But good luck to you guys this week and for the rest of the season. I can't wait to see you guys in the playoffs. It's gonna be a banger playoff for the 2A.
Have a good night, man.
Thanks for coming on, Aaron. Appreciate it.
His connection was.
We got to get good connections, fellas, if we want to be on. I love you, Aaron. The connection was terrible. But shout out to the Phantoms. Definitely took care of business last week. Going up against my bread. Hey, I'm breathing heavy because it's hot, bro, and I'm fat. Don't do that to me, bro. All right, bro.
Hey, was Mike Anderson supposed to call?
I weigh 345 pounds. I gotta breathe to live, fam. Come on, stop doing it.
Was Mike Anderson supposed to call in or be on screen?
Yeah, Mike just hit me up. He said that the link wasn't working, so I'm gonna try to.
Here, I'll send him another one because I had to send another one to Aaron for some reason. Hang on. That was him that just called.
Send him another one real quick. He just asked me about it. But
that was him that called.
Shout out to the Phantoms. I tell you right now, my early pick, I do got the Phantoms beating GCT. Not because I didn't pick y'all last week, just because I saw some things at the game that I think y'all be able to capitalize on against GCT. So I definitely am going to pick the Phantoms to win rivalry week this week. So don't hold it against me. I don't just pick teams just to be picking them. Michael Menez, hey man, first of all, I got a lot of space up under here. You know what I'm saying? It's not tight. I'm cool, man. Why y'all trying to hate on my drip? You better? Is that better, Mike? You feel? I don't feel comfortable like this, but if this makes you feel comfortable,
man, what is it? What is it? They're worried about you, man.
Hey, listen, it's summertime. They hot. They worried about my health. I appreciate it. But I've been living on this earth a long time. I've been fat all my life. I got it under control.
I don't know if that's Mike. If that's Mike calling me,
it's okay though. It's okay. This is my job. This is what I do for a living. So I don't take anything to heart, bro. I take nothing to heart.
Hang on, I'm gonna jump off the screen because I think Mike's calling me. Hang on.
Okay. Fellas, while I got you here, while Brian is taking care of some business, trying to get Mike on the line, please take time. Go to our YouTube page. Subscribe. All right. Next season, we got big things coming up. We're going to try to do almost like an NFL red zone, semi-pro-ish kind of vibe on our YouTube. All right. So next, it's imperative. It is imperative that you join our YouTube channel because next season on Saturdays, we'll be going live from our YouTube channel and we'll be picking pride in and out of different games because we'll be having the links to their live streams as well. So we'll be picking and prodding into the good games, switching games, and seeing what's going on Saturdays. Starting next season, like I said, me and Brian are doing our best to learn how to do more on this platform, as well as give you guys more content and have more accessibility to the players, the coaches, and the teams. So I made sure that's really. It's okay, Mike. That's okay. No problem, man. No problem. But yeah, we appreciate all the support. Right now, we are at 1.5 followers on Facebook. We appreciate all the love, all the support. Keep it going. Did we get him taken care of?
Yeah, he's gonna. He didn't know.
Hold on. I apologize, Paul. I apologize real quick, Ryan. Because I don't even have chest hair, bro. That's crazy. Now you're reaching, bro. Now you're reaching. This is a whole beard. Now you're reaching.
All right, Mike's in. He just jumped in. So, where are we at?
All right, man. Well, next on the show, we have all the way from Michigan, owner and defensive problem, number 4. Am I correct? Mr. Mike Anderson.
What up, dog? What up, dog?
What's up, Mike?
What's going on, Mike?
Finally on this mother,
Hey, man, we just glad to have you on the show. We want to go ahead and talk about last week's game. You give us your thoughts about what happened. You know what I mean? It was a tough game against Sin City. Them being already one of the premier teams that was in the championship last year. Y'all had the chance to host them. Tell us how you saw the game playing out and what were your thoughts?
Sin City, a good team. I said it was a game that came down to the trenches. You know what I'm saying? We outworked them. A couple of their guys gave up. You know what I'm saying? They gave in a little early. You know what I'm saying? And we end up coming out with it.
Well, now with this Six coming up next week, did you learn anything about your team this week that you're gonna be able to take into next week's game against the number 1 team, Ravens?
You said I learned anything?
Yeah, were y'all able to learn anything about your team? You know what I'm saying, to get y'all ready to play up against the Ravens?
We still got work to do. You know what I'm saying? It's really like a confidence thing. You know what I'm saying? We still build a chemistry week by week. If for the people that have been paying attention, you know, we get stronger every week. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we a new team. A lot of players been playing together. We got a lot of talent. You know what I'm saying? And it's starting to get in sync. So I feel like everything fell right on time as far as our schedule, how it was made, and the team that we playing next week. I feel like this week, and so I feel like everything fell in line for us.
Mike, we're going into week 6 of the season. You only got a couple more weeks left. It seems like it's going by pretty quick. But in the 3A division of the PFA, we lost him. Oh, there he is. Okay. You guys are 3-2, 6 and what was it? 6 and 2 overall. I mean, you guys are moving up in the rankings for that playoff seed this weekend versus Detroit Ravens in the battle for position at the top of the division. Tell us how you guys are preparing for this week's matchup.
Yeah, we are working right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's gonna come down to the who wanted the most. You know what I'm saying? Like we definitely not taking them lightly, and I hope they're not taking us lightly. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna come down to the battle for the best. You know what I'm saying? Like every time we done played them, last couple times we done played the Ravens, and it went down to the last quarter. So, you know what I'm saying? We got guys that's, like I said, we played out in competition. We got to get out of that. You know what I'm saying? We got to play all 4 quarters of football, and that's what it's gonna come down to.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Mike. I took you when you went against Racine. I'm definitely taking you again going up against these Ravens, dog. Now, I believe in Bill's Mafia. I like what y'all doing over there. I like seeing young fellas come together and do what y'all doing
right now,
man.
bro. We practice hard. We want it. We're at 40 deep right now. We practice hard. We want it.
I'm telling you right now, y'all my pick 'em for this Raven game. I hope y'all learn. Y'all got to finish. The Gators almost had it. They just didn't finish. You got to finish against the Ravens.
But it's about great coaching staff. It's a great organization. It's all about finishing with them, bro. You can't stop. You can't think it's over. You can't think you won. We got to play 4 quarters of football. I don't care if we have 21-0. You got to play 4 quarters of football.
Well, also, while I had you in here, Mike, I do want to congratulate you on your new coaching gig with the high school.
I appreciate it, bro.
I see you probably out there right now with him, so I just want to.
Yeah.
We're gonna let you go.
This the Bills. I'm out here with the Bills.
We're gonna let you go.
I was practicing too, but I stepped over real quick.
Okay, well, we appreciate your time, bro. We'll let you get back to it, man, and good luck for the rest of the season and this week, man.
Appreciate
Have a good night, Mike.
Hey, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. First of all, he reminds me, and I hate to say it because he reminds me of a young Jermaine Campbell. Okay, he was my owner for OGK. He also played, and he was he wasn't the best player, but he was an effective player. Might be out there. Listen, for somebody who plays on the opposite team, this is your chance to hit the owner. Like, he puts himself in harm's risk every game. Every game he puts himself in harm's risk for anybody on the team to lay him out. And he played, and I'm not going to call him small because he doesn't like that, but his stature to play defensive line, you know what I'm saying, the way he does, he plays outside linebacker or defensive end, he gets busy for somebody his stature. So shout outs to him, man, and the Bills Mafia. Hopefully y'all can take that momentum that you built off this last win into the Ravens game. I really call me just being just a guy who just is a sucker for underdog. Okay, I just am. I like seeing the juggernauts knocked off. because it lets them know they got something they need to work on. So, shout out to the Bills, man.
So we haven't heard from Coach Henderson yet, and I haven't heard from Jeff that the link is not working for them.
I told Jeff 8, so he's probably not going to pop on until like 7:50 or so like that. So
well, that'd be 6
next week's.
They're an hour behind us.
I
was gonna say Mark's in the waiting room. Do we want to go ahead and do the rankings now?
Let's bust that out right now.
Is that good with you?
So I'm excited.
Is that good with you, Mark? I see you driving. I don't know is that cool. If it is, shake your head.
All right, I'm ready. I haven't seen him. I know you looked at him, but I told Mark I wasn't going to look at him to the show because I wanted to give an honest, true reveal. And I can't hide my emotions with my face. So
that's right. So
if I don't like it, everybody's going to know. Without
further ado, as we all know, Mark Garcia.
It's the point that Kazai's on here trying to flame me. And he's telling me that I look like people that I love. I love Ice Cube. I love Friday, bro.
You kind of do look like Ice Cube.
Man, you can't flame nobody. I've heard that joke. I'm 40, bro. Come with something else.
Come with something new, man. We've
probably heard all. Ice Cube, Bone Crusher, Jazzy Faye, Heavy D. Like, come on, bro. Be original.
All right. Well, as everybody knows, Mark Garcia is the brainchild of the I75 Bowl Series, and he has created not only the Bowl Series, but a true Midwest National Championship. And without further ado, we are going to bring Mr. Mark Garcia on the show.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's up, Mark? You ready to drop these rankings to make some people cry? Because I know there's going to be some grumblings. And I love it. I like hearing people whine and cry.
Yeah, man. Honestly, with the way football's been played in the Midwest this year, it's kind of, I think we nailed it on the head this first go around. But as it always happens, the top 25 play each other, and it's going to be a whole new top 25 next week. I think we've got 12 games in the. Oh, hold on. We're all the way at 15 to 11 right now.
Sorry. My bad.
Yeah, go.
Why did it do that? Why did it do that? I don't know why I did that. All right. Hopefully I went fast.
Yeah, we're gonna walk through this 25 to 21 all the way down to number 1. We'll release in groups of 5 until we get to number 5. So guys that haven't been watching, so what we're doing is those top 5 seeds are going to lock up a bowl appearance for the I-75 Bowl Series. This will be 2A and 3A affiliated. And then that sixth spot is actually a lottery pick. So those remaining 24, the remaining 20 will have a chance to get that last bowl spot. It's kind of something that we stole a lot, like it's from the NBA. They get a lottery pick, So the way we doing that this year is because we want guys from 25 all the way to 5 to be competing for something bigger than just playing football. Right. So without further ado, we'll go through this PowerPoint slideshow, and right here. So our ranking consideration, we'll go by record, head-to-head wins and losses. Resume, that's a big thing. Your losses, you can lose some ball games, but it's who you lose to. So that's where we come out with our resume, and then we'll go to the computer rankings, which you'll get computer rankings for 3A wins, 2A wins, and then top 25 wins. And then from there, we'll go to strength of schedule, which we don't only rank our top 25. We rank all teams in 2A and all teams in 3A to come up with that strength of schedule. So if you have the number 1 strength of schedule in 3A, you're going to get more computer points than if you're dead last. Right. And then lastly, it'll be points for versus points against. And to keep this as factual as possible, we are not including forfeit points.
Okay.
Yes. I like it, Mark.
All right. So right here's your points breakdown. Win over a 3A opponent, 6 points, 6 computer points. A win over a 2A opponent is 5 points. And then a forfeit win, you'll get 4 points.
Okay.
For beating the top 25, if you beat somebody in the top 5, it's an extra 4 computer points. And then top 10 will be 3, top 15, 2, top 20, 1.5, and then you get a little and then you'll get 1 point if you beat somebody 21 through 25. So that's how that goes.
I hate to cut you off, Mark, but this is so sick, bro. This feels like our own little BCS.
Right.
Here. It's
yeah.
Awesome. Keep going, brother.
And so much work you put into this too.
Right. So here's a little bit of a template. So Team A, Division 3A is 3-0. Each opponent Team A has defeated is in 3A. So opponents 1 and 2, which Team A has defeated, are also 2-1. And then opponent 3 is 1-1 with a victory over a 3A opponent. Then this opponent has an open date. So that's kind of like just example. Okay, so your level points, you get 18 points. The 3 wins times the 6 points for the Division 3A opponents, and then you divide those. That's how you got that first level points. And then you see right there in the asterisks, all other point credentials will not be divided by total games played. So this is kind of a way to monitor the strength of schedule as well as keeping the computer points fairly even. So, you play those top 25 2A or 3A teams, you get those extra computer points. And that's really what boosts you into the top 15, top 10, top 5, so on and so forth. So I believe we're going to hit our first slide here of 3A rankings. So let's go ahead and get to it.
All right.
25, we got go ahead, Coach.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, 25 through 21, we've got the Midwestern Wildcats out of the Northern Lights Football League. We got the Mid-Michigan Eagles out of the MIFL. We got the Leyden Lions out of the NWF. Canton Hurricanes out of Tri-Point Blue.
They should.
And then your Lane County Spartans out of the NWF. Now, I should have had the records pulled up, which I will do that as of right now.
I could tell you the records of some of them I have. Well, I keep track of, like the Mid-Michigan Eagles. They're out of the, like you said, the Michigan Independent Football League. They are 2-2 at the moment right now. They're a new team too. They're a first-year team.
What's the Hurricanes record, man?
I don't know. I don't have it. Mark probably has it.
That's the only one I'm disagreeing with, but that's the only one I'm disagreeing with right now.
He's froze. I think he froze.
I feel like they should be 25. But I like the other teams. Some of the teams I haven't even heard of. Like
the Leyden Lions played in the MCFL last year.
Yeah. So you've got the Wildcats at 2-2, the Eagles at 2-2, the Leyden Lions at 1-1, the Canton Hurricanes at 1-1, and then the Lake County Spartans are. Am I back on?
This is 2A.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm freezing up a little bit.
This is 2A.
Yeah, this is 2A. I'm flipping back and forth between records and stuff.
Yeah, this is 2A. Not a bad first 5. Not a bad first 5.
Right. All right. So now we'll go to 20 through 15 or 20 through 16. Got the Lansing Crusaders out of the MIFL. I believe they're 2-2. We got the Rocky River Rampage out of the Northern Lights Football League, as well as the Tri-City Bulldogs. They're both 2-2. The Midwest Vigilance out of the MCFL
south side of Indy. I think they're 2-1. If Mark's freezing, he's flipping back and forth.
Yeah, I'm back and forth.
I have them as 2-1. The Vengeance.
The Vengeance is 2. No, they are 2-2.
Oh, okay.
We confirmed we confirmed that record.
Okay.
And then
it's hard to track them because I can't. They never post the updates on the.
And your Central Illinois Cougars out of the CMFL, they're also 2-2. Now people are like, how do you put 1-1 teams or 2-2 teams in front of 1-1 teams? They got more experience, more games played. The resumes for these guys looked a little better than the 1-1 teams that are sitting in the top 25. So that's why we got 2-2 teams sitting in this slot right here. Now, like I said, there's a lot of teams that play each other in the next couple weeks, so this is all going to be different in the couple weeks. So now let's go to top 15.
About where they finish. They'll be fine.
Top 15.
Okay now. Here we go.
All right, so you've got the Kentucky Pirates, who are 3-1. We got number 14 is the Northern Kentucky Wolfpack. Now, this is a tough team, man. Now, the Kentucky Pirates sit behind the Wolfpack because the Wolfpack beat them in actually a pretty hard-fought game, 20-6. So that's why Northern Kentucky Wolfpack got the nod. Now, everybody's like, how do you put a 5-4 team in the top 14? Well, you look at the teams they played. That's where the resume comes in. Not only do they have 9 games played, they've got 5 wins. That adds up to more computer points. And you got to look at their losses. Their one forfeit that was originally a forfeit win to Port City, who then they went and beat 28-6, I believe, in their second meeting. So it just shows the tale of two halves or tale of two games, who the more dominant team was. So I really don't count the forfeit loss as something that should go against the Wolfpack's record. And then you've got 2 other games that really they about came back and won that game. It was lost in the final seconds, actually. And they played a really tough game to a 3A Cincinnati Bucks. And then, so this team could really be 8-1, 7-2, and easily in the top 10 of the 2A if the cards would have fell right. They didn't fall right. That's why they're sitting where they're at. Now you've got the Evansville Elite. They're sitting at, I believe.
They played each other.
Let me see here.
Yeah, the Wolfpack.
That'll be another game that.
Each other this weekend.
Yep, and Evansville Elite is 2-2. If you guys haven't noticed the trend in 2A, there's a lot of 1-loss and 2-loss teams. Not a whole lot of undefeated guys there. Then you go to the Northern Lights Football League, the Brown County Blackjacks. Real tough schedule. They pulled out a couple of 2A wins. They have a real close 3A loss to I believe the Minneapolis Warriors. I'm not 100% on that. I don't have their schedule in front of me, so that's why they got that number 12 spot. Now the Ohio Bears, out of Tri-Point Red, they're undefeated. They're 2-0, 3-0 maybe. They just got a nice win over I believe the Ohio Legends this past weekend. Very impressive win. And then, so that's why they're at that 11th spot. Now we'll go to the top 10. 10 through 6. All right. So number 10, you got the Stark County Wolfpack, who are also out of Tri-Point Red. I've watched some of Stark County's games. They're sitting at 1-1, I believe. Or no, my bad. They're undefeated. They're 2-0, I believe. This team, they have the potential to be great if they get the pieces put together. So that's why they took that number 10 spot. Next, we got number 9, Flint Fury out of the GMFC. These guys are playing some good ball, man. They got a real close loss to who's sitting at number 7. We'll get to that here in a second. And, if this team gets hot, Flint Fury, man, they go undefeated the rest of the year and win the GMFC. You might see them guys in the top 5, top 4 spot here. Yeah. Number 8, and this is good. Number 8 is the Flag City Phantoms, the 2A PFA. I'm the head coach, of course, so I try to remain completely unbiased in all aspects.
I feel like 8 is cool, Coach. I feel like 8 is cool. 8 is cool.
And because of, and honestly, the reason I put the Phantoms there at number 8 is they lost a bumpy preseason matchup to the Northern Kentucky Wolfpack, who's in the top 15. And then it was like a tale of two halves between them and the Cincinnati Dukes, their only other loss on the year. It was 26-0 at halftime. And then late in the fourth quarter, Flag City driving. It's a 31-21 game. if Flag City scores a touchdown there, makes it a 3-point game, you never know what happens. It ends up being a pick six right there in the final seconds of the game, and the score ended up being 38-21. But like I said, nobody scored even more than 6 points on the Cincinnati Dukes this season, and where the Cincinnati Dukes sit, the loss is a good enough loss to put them there at number 8. Number 7, you got the undefeated Albion Warriors out of the GMFC. This is a tough team, man. I know they kind of it was kind of a letdown there last year at the National Bowl game, but I feel like this team is reloaded. I feel like they're destined to make another run. So we'll definitely look closer at them at number 7. The Tri-City Stampede out of the MIFL. These guys, they're very competitive. They're very hard-nosed. I see these guys possibly moving up here, maybe even to the top 5. So now, here's the top 5 for 2A. Let's go. So we got the Wisconsin Ravens out of Northern Lights Football League. Now, listen, I didn't hear about these Wisconsin Ravens, man, up until about 2 weeks ago. Started doing my research. Man, they've beaten down on some teams. They are beating down on some teams, including a team in the 3A who's actually ranked in the top 25. The Madison Mad Dogs.
I know that. Yep.
They beat them 60-0 the other day. Or earlier in the season. So that's why they're sitting where they're sitting.
Right.
Like this team can make a great push for a national title appearance this year. So next we got number 4, the Cleveland Rams out of Tri-Point Blue, 3-0. All right, and this is a testament. All right, this is a testament because of what Cleveland Rams did last year and what they're doing this year. Are they squeaking out some games? They are, but they're hard-nosed. They're tough. They're pushing through. They went 10-1 last year. They ended up getting booted out of the playoffs, and that was their only loss, was getting booted out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to get booted out the way they did, we didn't take that loss as credential. And with them being undefeated this year, I felt like number 4 was the perfect spot for them.
I know some
So
guys
let's
on
go
the
to
team. I know the coach, DeMario, good coach. So yeah, that's
number
they're gonna be
3,
excited about that one. They'll be excited about that one.
the Chicago Chaos out of the MWUF. This team's so they're off to a great start. They're 3-0. Now there's some teams in the top 25 in 3A and 2A that play this squad, so they'll be able to prove themselves in the coming weeks. I don't know much about their program. I do know that they play tough competition. The point differential is astounding. So that's why they got the nod right there at the number 3 spot. So let's go to number 2, the Columbia Vipers out of the CMFL.
What's the CMFL, Mark?
Huh?
What's the CMFL? What league is that?
I don't know. I think it's Central Michigan Football League. I'm not 100% sure. Austin would be a better Austin or Central Midwest Football League. It's something like that. Austin, if Austin's on here. If Austin's on here, he might be able to say something about the name of the league. Now this team, very impressive. All their wins, double-digit wins, at an undefeated spot. They play some really tough competition in the 3A coming up. They had enough points to get that nod at the number 2 spot. So, without further ado, let's go to number 1 2A team, the Cincinnati Dukes out of the BCFL. So, like I said, with resume, you get quality losses, and that's where FCP falls at number 8. They have a loss against the top 15 team, as well as the number 1 team in the nation. Now, the Cincinnati Dukes, they're walking over everybody. I'm not sure who they have this week. I'm not sure if they got a week off, but this team is very well sound. I coached against them. They got a really good coaching staff, And next week, I think Ravens handle business this week, and I think we have a juggernaut of a match coming up next week with these two football teams.
Okay.
And if the Ravens, and I'm big on the Ravens. I've been following the Ravens. I love the way Coach T. Sims coaches the Ravens. I do believe this year, no dash on the Bills, no dash on the Gators, no dash on the Rams, but this is the best chance of the Ravens taking a loss this year. I wholeheartedly believe that. The Cincinnati Dukes are a very sound football team, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well, the Dukes, I got Mike Clay here in the he's a wide receiver for the Dukes. He says they play Kentucky Cavs this week.
Copy that. Kentucky Cavalry.
And Austin also said it's the Central Midwest Football League, the Vipers.
Okay. You ready for 3A, Mark?
Copy.
I like the 25
All right.
for 2A.
Yep.
I definitely
Chris,
like the
do you
top
have any
five,
to
sure.
say about the 2A reactions? Okay.
I can't
Good
wait
deal.
to do
Good
these
deal.
reactions.
They just
All right,
signed
well, let's go
Dion
to-
McKinley.
Let's go
whoever that is.
3A.
3A. Top 25 down to 21.
I hate seeing that right
All
there.
right.
I'm
So
not
at
even gonna
25 spot.
lie. Man.
At 25.
And you're right, Mark. You're right. I just expect more out of them.
We had I believe we had the Sin City Bucks. We never released our preseason rankings, but we did have them just to have a baseline. I think we had the Bucks at number 7 to begin the preseason. Now, the reason why they make the top 25 at 3-3 and the 3A is tougher. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
from 10 to 20, it's pretty much all one-loss teams, and then in the top 10, it's pretty much undefeated. So, Sin City Bucks, they've had a battle-tested schedule. They went and lost a really close game to the Indy Bison, and just a close one last week by 7 to the Bills, who are both ranked ahead of them. They've got all their losses are, I'm pretty sure, top 25 losses. So the resume on the losses kind of puts them there above some guys that I didn't mention, like GCT. There's a couple of 2-2 teams out there that almost made the cut. But at 25, Sin City was the perfect fit, I believe.
Yeah.
You've got the Midwest Titans and the Tulsa Gators that I believe are both 3-1. They're both out of the CMFL, and they play here soon. So that should be a good game. They might even be in the playoffs. I'm not 100% sure, but let me check here. I've got the rankings right here. So let's go.
Yeah, I think we all would have wished that Sin City would have performed a little bit better this season than what they are. But 25 is definitely where they do belong. The losses that they have against some of the top teams helps them out as well, like you said, with the ranking points.
Definitely. And Jeff is in the waiting room, by the way, Chris.
Okay. On time and rhymes.
Remember, he's an hour behind us, too.
Both at 3 and yep. The Cavalry and my bad. You got the River City Rough Riders at the Northern Lights Football League. Okay. Both these teams, they have pretty good schedules. They're both 3-1 at this point in time. I just like to see a little more out of them. Both the Knights, I believe, can run the table if they play good football. The River City Rough Riders, they're 2-2. I think they have a loss against 2 teams ranked ahead of them. We actually missed one of their losses. They were ranked higher. We had to do a mix-up with the rankings last minute. We found out they had lost to somebody else and had to flip the rankings around a little bit. So that's 25 through 21. Let's go to 20 through 16.
Oh,
Got Indy Bison at 20.
There's your Bison, Brian.
They could have been ranked higher.
Justin was in the chat. I don't know if he's still in there, but we'll see if he says anything.
Yeah,
the Indy Bison. The Indy Bison could have been ranked higher. And going off of last year, they had a couple of really great wins. They ended up winning a national bowl game, and we had them real high in preseason rankings. We had them in the top 5, and to this point in time, at 2-2, they beat 2 teams that they really should have beat, and they beat them handily. I think one was 48-0, one was 60-0. And then 2 teams. Oh, my bad. They're 3-2, right? Because they beat.
They're actually. They got the win against.
From the chat, Mark. They're asking. They say, "Isn't Southern Indiana Bobcats a 2A team?"
No, I don't believe so. No, I think so. There was some confusion. I think if Austin's in here, there was some confusion on certain teams that were in a league that were trying to be all 2A. I'm not sure if this is that league, but we do have right there. You see them at number 16. I'll get to that here in a second. So at 19, we got the Madison Mad Dogs. I was just talking to you about them. The Wisconsin Ravens put it to them earlier in the season. So at 3-1, they're sitting at 19, and we'll see what happens from there. I don't know a whole lot about them. Austin done a lot of research on the NLFL. So, but ahead of them, we've got the Central Wisconsin Wolves out of the MWUF. Now these guys are undefeated. These guys are undefeated, and we put them there because they have 2A wins. It's not necessarily because they're a bad football team. The resume just doesn't speak loudly enough to put them in that top 15, and you'll see why. The top 15 is very, very competitive, and it was very hard to see what we had. You got the Grand Rapids Surge at 17. This is an upcoming team. They're 3-1. Like I said, 10 through 20 is pretty much 3-1 teams. Grand Rapids Surge, they're 3-1. They'll play. I'm pretty sure they play maybe the Flint Fury. I'm not 100% sure about that. But Grand Rapids Surge, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so like for a team like the Grand Rapids Surge, they're in the Michigan Independent Football League. So, I mean, they pretty much play all the teams in there. None of those teams are traveling. So how does the strength of schedule come into play for those teams?
So, like I said, strength of schedule is dependent on the rankings. So we rank them 1 through 55, or how many teams there is. I think we got 55 3A, 55 2A, 48 3A, something like that. So that's how strength is.
Fred Smith from the chat says they play Central Michigan Bengals this week,
who are 0-4 right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the travel we take into consideration to a point, but you also, when you look at resume, you kind of have to look at abstract professionalism is what I call it. You look at the history of teams, you look at the resumes of teams that have been around for 5, 10, 15 years, and the way they're producing, the way they're accomplishing things. That's kind of what builds up that strength of schedule and the rankings. So the way they'll be able to move up is just to keep winning. Do they move up into the top 5, into the top 10? Huh?
I said it's always about more dubs and losses.
What'd you say? Oh, right. Yep. So now at 16, you might lose me. I'm in a dead area. But at 16, you got the Southern Indiana Bobcats and out of the MCFL. You just seen what Austin said. By evaluation, from what they've done over the past couple of years, they are considered a 3A team by the evaluation of the I75 Bowl Series. I had real high hopes for the Bobcats. They took a real tough loss to the Illinois Grizzlies, who was actually a 3-3 team at this point in time, who just missed the top 25. They're sitting along with GCT, and I hate to go back to resume and record and head-to-head and stuff like that, but you lose to a 3-4 loss team. It makes you wonder of what type of team you got. It was only a 1-point game too,
Right.
so I believe the Bobcats could have been ranked a little higher. 16 I thought was a pretty good spot for them though. So let's go to the 15, top 15. All right. 15 here.
Oh, we're starting to lose them.
Before you start, Mark, I'm just gonna say what I already don't like before you start your spiel. The Hurricanes is better than the Bills. Is that what we saying?
The Hurricanes are.
I know the Bills gonna take offense to that.
I think the Hurricanes are undefeated right now in this season.
I know they are, but I know the Bills think they're a hell of a lot better than the Hurricanes.
No, they're the Michigan Hurricanes. The Michigan Hurricanes are actually 5-1.
Yeah, because they lost to
Or they might be undefeated. No,
they lost to the Bills. Didn't they play the Bills?
They lost.
So they beat the Bills. That's.
Is that the team
correct.
they lost to?
I don't remember what it was in preseason. They played them in preseason. I don't have the score because I don't have the preseason stats.
Right. Yeah, they did take a loss, and just like Nationals, we do account for preseason games up to a point. Did I lose you guys?
No, you're good. We can hear you.
No, you're still good. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, we're starting to lose them now.
At 14, we got the Stockman. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Now we can.
All right. So at 14, we got the Omaha Stockmen out of the HFA. If anybody knows this team, man, this is a hard-nosed, smash-mouth team out of the Midwest. They're going to compete. They're going to be nationally ranked every year, as well as in the I75. The Tri-City Stampede is considered 2A. I believe we had them in 2A.
Yeah, we had them in 2A already.
Right?
Yep. That's what I just put in the chat.
They're number 6.
Right.
2A.
They're number 6 in 2A.
Mm-hmm.
The Tri-City Stampede are. At 13, you got the Michigan Hurricanes at 5-1 record. The record. The Sheboygan County Sabres. Now, this is a team that could really make a run for that top 5. They're currently ranked number nationally out of the MPA. And they've got a tough schedule left on their hands. If they escape that schedule, I feel like that they'll turn some heads and be able to make some headway for the top 5. At 11, you got the Missouri Cyclones undefeated out of CMFL. And I believe the CMFL, Missouri faces another undefeated team out of the CMFL this upcoming week. Might be playoff time for the CMFL. I'm not 100% positive. Again, like I said, Austin, I appreciate that guy a lot, man. He's going to be on a salary next year. He's doing a lot of my dirty work, digging in when I can't find scores, when I can't find leagues. He's reaching out to the right guys, networking, so that we can get all the scores we need. I really appreciate that guy. And then, we got bigger things in store for next year. We're going to come up with a committee from across the nation because we're going to a national base next year. I won't release a lot on that this year because this year's this year, not next year. So without further ado, the top 10. Now I'm not sure on the squad. Let's see here.
I gotta ask one question about this 10-6. And the only
Yes,
question
sir.
I got is Erie Express. And the only reason why I asked is I was a part of the
What's
coaching
up?
staff last year, and we did not have a good season at all. A lot of promise, but definitely did not have a good season. I know they're off so they're undefeated right now in preseason. I know they're playing the Wildcats this Saturday. So
Yeah.
That's the only one I got a problem with.
Yeah. So the Erie Express at number 9 there, out of Tri-Point Red. They've been a powerhouse for the past 5 years. They didn't have a good season last year. I feel like they revamped a little bit this year. We'll figure it out. As of right now, at number 9, I think that's where we were good with them. They easily could have fell outside of the top 10. But as of right now, computer points, resume, they're dominating to a point. So we'll see what happens. That is a top 10 candidate fall out of the top 25. You know how that works. The NCAA top 25. You have multiple top 10 candidates that start out there, but end up being 25th at the end of the season. So, that's why we're comfortable putting them there. I feel like they could make some noise, but they couldn't. Next, we're going to go to the Michigan Gators. They're 5-1 out of the PFA 3A. The Michigan Gators, man, I'm telling you what, almost a perfect first half against the Detroit Ravens last week. Even going into the third quarter, I think it was tied at 34 at one point. But then in that fourth quarter, the Ravens just took off with it. They took off with it. They scored, I think 27 unanswered. It was a good fourth quarter for the Ravens. They capitalized. But their only loss is to the number 1 team I think they lost by 25 points. So that's why they're sitting at number 8. Now you got the St. Joe Bucks and the Oklahoma Bears that are rounding out your top 10, 10-6. Both those teams are undefeated. They've got because of strength of schedule and
gotta love that Lima technology out there. He's out there with the cows.
The cows are holding up the cell tower. Did we lose him? Is he still there?
Is he still there? We only got 5 more. No, I'm sorry, Tay B. GCT
we lost him.
Did not make the top 25. He did say that before. He said they were honorable mention nominee, but they did not make the top 25.
Am I back?
You're back. We're getting ready to hit the top 5.
All right, let's go top 5. The Minneapolis Warriors out of the HFA. Now, this team has only lost to 1 team. They're out of the top 3. Really good football team, really sound football team. If some things shake up in that top 5, man, this could very well be a team that competes for a national title. They're sitting at 4-1, I believe, right now. Right behind another 4-1 team that's going to be sitting at number 4. The Motor City Rams. All right, the Motor City Rams. Going back into last year, man, you could tell this team was going to be a powerhouse, and they are a powerhouse this year. The first half of that Racing game, they didn't look real hot. I know Racing put in some backups. They're in the end of the first half, going into the third quarter. The Motor City Rams was able to capitalize there and put up 14 points and made it a better loss than what it was to the eventual top 3 team that we're about to announce. The Racing Raiders, who's playing really good football, went undefeated last year. and is continuing their undefeated streak this year. They have a gauntlet of the Racine has a gauntlet of a schedule coming up in the GDFL, as well as some non-league games against Flag City, against GCT. So we'll see how their season pans out. Let's go to number 3, the Illinois Cowboys.
For sure.
Now number 2 and number 3 was a very, very tough conversation between me and Austin and a couple of other guys. We do have some certain individuals that are putting their input in across the Midwest. It's not like we're BSing our way through the rankings and the resumes and stuff like that. We do get some really good abstract information from people across the Midwest, and that's what made this a really tough decision. The Cowboys, I believe, went 14-1 or 15-0 last year with a national title game, with a national title win, and then Racine, who was the GDFL undefeated national champs last year. So putting these two toe-to-toe, it was really hard, but I think the resume spoke for itself and the teams that Racine has played so far this year. Who is going to be our number 2 team? You can go ahead and pull them up. Number 2 team in the Midwest is the Racine Raiders. They beat a top 15 team in the Michigan Bills pretty handily, 21-0. And then, like I said, they jumped out on the number 4 team, 27-0, before they let off the gas pedal a little bit. So I think our top 5 was a really great top 5. I think our top 10 was pretty good top 10. Like I said, the pieces will fall where they need to fall. But as of right now, your number 1 team in the nation for 3A, or for the Midwest in 3A, is your Detroit Ravens. Going on 32 wins in a row. They're outscoring opponents, I think, by 48.7 points a game. It's kind of a ritual for these guys to put up a lot of points, and they will put up a lot of points in a hurry if you don't, if you don't stop them. They capitalize on mistakes. They beat really good teams by a really good amount of a margin. The Florida Gators, being a top 10 team, they beat them by 25 points. So, and I go back to what I was saying earlier in the 2A, that game next week between the Cincinnati Dukes and the Detroit Ravens is going to be a juggernaut. I have mad respect for the Bills, but I did say the Ravens by 28, just because there was a guy on there betting hundreds of dollars, man. And I'm just like, man, you can't bet your money away.
Hey, Mark,
not when you're playing the number 1 team in the nation. So
somebody in the chat said that.
Go ahead.
Someone said in the chat said that GDFL teams shouldn't be ranked per their owner.
If he's talking about Charles Thompson, I'm saying I could care less.
Now you said Racine they don't want ranked per their owner too.
Yeah, and Fred, listen, Mark didn't say it, Brian didn't say it, I said it.
Chris said Fred.
So I'm just saying right now, that might be the very interested by.
No, Fred, you're cool. I've been around long enough to know about the GDFL when the GDFL first really started in the teams that they have. My team was one of those teams. So I've been known Charles Thompson and his antics for a long time. This is a new culture and it's a new day. And you're either gonna get with it or you're gonna get ran over. So we not here for the old days of how yesteryears did semi-pro. That's why we call it professional advancement football now. We're doing a whole new shindig. We need rankings. We need bowl series for the Midwest. We don't need to keep going down to Florida every chance we can get. When we have enough teams right here, and good teams, as you just saw, Marcus went through 25 of them on 2A and 3A in this region that we can have good football and bowl games with. So I'm not a fan of the GDFL, me personally. That's just my opinion.
So Mark, when is the next bowl rankings going to drop? I don't know. It kind of froze up there.
Yeah, they're going to be waiting for these. He froze up on us. They're going to be waiting for these.
Thank you, froze up on us.
Listen, I know the Bills going to be mad. BTA boys, stand the hell up. You made the top 5 in the first order of the rankings. So I know you happy. You finally getting some credit where credit is due. But yeah, Sin City, you're not where you're supposed to be. You're not where you're supposed to be, baby. That should be a wake-up call. You shouldn't be at the bottom of the list, Sin City. You shouldn't be at 25, baby. Okay? Now, we got to get that together. Michigan Gators, salute to you guys for being where you guys are. I want to say Michigan Gators ain't the top 10. You're number 8. So shout out to the Gators for playing hard. But Sin City, we got to get it together, baby.
All right, Mark, before we let you go, when's the next rankings drop? He keeps Austin answer the question for me.
It'll be a weekly rankings from here on out.
Okay, all right, cool. As always, man, we appreciate you jumping on, and we always enjoy talking to you. And definitely, we'll get you back on in maybe in a couple of weeks to do another like end of season type ranking drop or whatever. And good luck this weekend.
We'll post them up every week, though, Mark. When you give them, so make sure we get them up every week.
Have a great night. Good luck this weekend.
Rankings will be.
He started to sound like Roger Troutman. I can't.
All right, Mark, you're cutting out on us.
All right.
All right. Jeff's been waiting in the waiting room for a while. So
he's going to chew us out.
Yeah, chew us out for multiple things. Without further ado, let's welcome back to the show, offensive coordinator of the Racine Raiders, Mr. Jeff Schick. Jeff, can you hear us this time? Oh, we see your mouth moving. Hey, there we go. There we go.
Much better.
Thank you for waiting patiently in the waiting room while Mark was talking. We appreciate you. Going over those rankings and stuff like that. But how is it going, sir? How's it? You ready for this weekend's game?
Very good. No, things are going well. We've got another one coming up this weekend. As was described, had a really good competition last week, and those Motor City Rams team, I think, is better than last year. Their defense, their linebackers really gave us fits. I know talked about, that we jumped on them early. Little bit of a fluke first touchdown that got us off playing from ahead, and that always helps. But that team is tough. We did not put in, subs freely in the second half. They just made adjustments, and they played great defense in the second half and gave us fits. So all credit to them.
I appreciate you saying that because, the scuttlebutt around the internet moves kind of quick. And that was the little we put in. They put in their second, third string in the first quarter. I said, no, I don't think so. Not against BTA. I think that it was a hard-hitting, hard-fought game. And like you said, they made some adjustments, but you guys rose to the top. We just went over the rankings for the I75 series. You guys are number 2. Used to being number 1. So how does that?
How do you argue? How do you argue with the Ravens? I mean, they're doing is phenomenal. They've got a great run going. And again, I tell anyone that says we played the Ravens, I think it was 3-4 years ago. They beat us. They beat us in Racine, if I remember right. So until we get a chance to rematch, they deserve to be ahead of us. As long as they keep winning, we keep winning. I can't complain with that. They're a great organization. I love watching their highlights. They play great ball. I would love an opportunity to play them again sometime. We tried talking with them to see if we get something to work out this year. The dates didn't really align. Maybe the I-75 Bowl Series is a way that can happen. I don't know. I know they want to get back down to Florida again for that. I don't fault them for that. We're more focused on trying to have some kind of national playoff system, not just the Florida Bowls. But they're a great team. So we're honored, to be in that conversation. And until they take a misstep, I tip my cap to them and, help they keep playing great football.
Well, I know you wanted to get on here and kind of, pull our tails because we didn't pick you guys last week. We went
I was given instructions by our media director to make sure to remind you guys that the pick, I think, was not necessarily in our favor. But again, Rams is a good team. Completely understand you guys are more familiar with Michigan, Ohio teams. Over in Wisconsin, we play a little bit of football too, and every once in a while we win a game. So, but we're happy to be involved. And again, it was a great game. And we do appreciate, this podcast. We keep tabs on it. We love hearing about the teams in the Midwest. So the work you guys do is great. And I love hearing the updates on all the other leagues, whether it's Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Missouri. I mean, it's a lot of good football, and more football is better for everybody.
Definitely.
Well, Coach, like I was telling Brian, I'm a sucker for underdogs, so you have to apologize to me sometimes for my picks. I pick with my heart, not my head. So it just happens sometimes. I like to see I like to see a juggernaut go down. But
no worries.
Speaking of the upcoming season, I know you guys are about to head into somewhat of a gauntlet. Teams you got coming up here, a little bit, little road travel for you as well. I know that was something new that you did last season. Had a lot of road travel. So what is the I know the expectation is always to win out, but what are you guys really focusing on to try to fix going into next week?
Yeah, I mean, we had a pretty good turnover in our roster, so it's been the first 3 games. It's been a little bit of a learning process for trying to figure out how to use the new talent. So we think we've got a pretty good handle on that. We've got an interesting team coming up from Southern Tennessee this weekend out of the EAFL, kind of an all-star team coming up to play us. Going to be curious to see. We don't really have any film or really any idea in terms of what they've got, so it'll be interesting to see, kind of without any preparation, how we stack up. And then we travel to St. Paul, Minnesota, come back against Flag City, then go to Glass City, and then end the year again down at Indiana Bobcats after
Southern Indiana.
Yeah. Other than having in between there is also another game against St. Paul and River City Rough Riders coming back. So, good schedule. I think our schedule last year was a little bit tougher, but that could prove me wrong because everybody's getting better every week. So, we have to keep challenging ourselves to do that same thing.
Well, let me ask you this too. I know I got one more question before we let you get up out of here. You played against the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
You played against the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Which team? This your preference, your opinion. You played against both of them. Which team did you think, as far as it goes in our league, is going to be one of those teams that we need to watch? Because both of them right now are 3 and I want to say they're at the 3 and 4 spot, respectively. And so we still got a couple of more games to go. Which team do you think might be able to rise to the occasion since you play both of them?
Yeah, so it's a great question. And they're similar teams in that they're hard-hitting, play physical defense. I would say there's 2 main differences. And no disrespect to either team because every team has, advantages, disadvantages, certain things. I would say the Rams quarterback situation probably is a difference maker, especially if Future's playing for the Rams. And he wasn't able to play against us. Neither one of us had our starting quarterback. So but Future's playing, I think that's a big factor for the Rams that brings them up. But I will say I think the Bills secondary is better in terms of keeping play in front of them, not giving up the big play as much. I think their secondary is very good. And so that gives them a little bit of advantage. Now, whether either one of those advantages is enough to close the gap on the Ravens when they get a chance to play them, I don't know. But that's 2 points of differentiation. And I think right now, probably, I would say the Rams are half a step ahead of where the Bills are, but Bills are coming hard.
Definitely.
I appreciate that, Coach. Appreciate that. Brian, you got something for Coach?
No, I mean, I think he answered all the questions. Always great chatting with you. Yes, what you got?
Sure. I just want to clarify one thing. There's talking that we don't want to be ranked. That I understand. To your point, Chris, Charles Thompson believes the GDFL stands apart, and that's fine. We have our own national playoffs. We've got our own championship system, but we, along with other teams, love being, having opportunities to play teams from outside our league.
Right.
Love the opportunities to be talked about. We love to be included in the conversation with the rankings, and if the opportunity were to arise, this fall to play in a bowl series, we definitely entertain it. But we have to win our league. Our organizational policy is if we don't win our league, we're done. So if that were to occur, we're fortunate enough to advance through the GDFL. We'd be very interested in participating in a bowl series or something like that. That is what we're all about. But yes, but I do understand that misnomer out there, or that Charles has made that statement. He believes in the national playoff system that the GDFL provides. We love that for us, but we're always willing to play more football.
Right. Somebody in the chat has asked why Andre was out of the game last week.
He was sick. Sometimes this weather, it's been cold and rainy here. He was sick.
Wisconsin.
Came to he's from Chicago. He came to the game that day, dressed, tried to warm up, spent more time in the locker room near a garbage can. We did get him in because it was his birthday. We did get him in for a few plays late in the first half, because he had some family and friends come up to see the game, but he was in no shape to keep going. He was sick. So we're lucky enough to have depth, to have a team that can rally around players. We're pretty happy with the way the game turned out, with a tough challenge.
Awesome. Well, Coach, it's always a pleasure talking to you and the organization and stuff like that. So we'll definitely have you back on, hopefully before the season ends. And we appreciate you jumping on and waiting patiently in the waiting room while we're trying to get you on, man. And have a good rest of the weekend and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Very entertaining show. You guys keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.
Have a good night. That was Jeffrey Schick.
I'm glad he did say that about, because I went on my little spew, so I'm glad he did, verify that information. But again, like I said,
I've heard that before. Like the rankings that someone said that the Raiders didn't want to be ranked, but now that you say that the GDFL is the one that doesn't want to be ranked, how can a league?
He feels as if he's a national league, and so any rankings that he puts out is a national ranking, and that again, that is your opinion, and that's why in America we have freedom of speech. So anybody can make up anything. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can say anything. But what we're trying to do is bring eyes and bring notoriety and people over to this game. So if we got to do a bowl series in the I75 Bowl series here, or if some people over in California do something, like, what is the problem with that? Because the more football, the more being talked about, the more ranking, teams that we can put into rankings and actually have a system. Like Mark has created, where there's points, it's a computer, you know what I'm saying? Those are the type of things that we need. Like I said, it's a new culture. It's a new day. The old way that GDFL and other leagues were doing it back when I was playing, that was acceptable. And yes, at the time when I was playing, GDFL was king. Back in I would say this was 06. They were there before that. So in the 2000s, GDFL was the premier. It was the national elite of elite when it came to semi-pro football.
Right.
That is not the case anymore. Most of your good teams are not in. Most of your dominant teams are not in the GDFL.
Right.
They're not. They might have one or two, but they used to have them all. But that doesn't exist anymore. They're in other leagues now. And because that doesn't exist, and because other teams and other leagues are getting better, you have to be open-minded up for change. And unfortunately, that's something that he's not willing to give into yet. So I keep him, we're going to do what we're going to do. And
it is what it is. So it's that time of the show where we go through our Week 6 previews, and we're going to pop those right up on the screen, and we're going to start with our 3A game of the week, right? We didn't even talk about it, but I think it's the 3A game of the week.
It definitely
Michigan
is.
Bills 3-2 taking on the 5-0 Detroit Ravens. Chris, who do you have?
I'm taking the Bills Mafia.
Oh.
Ravens, you was looking shaky against the Gators. My man Coach just said that the Bills got a great secondary. And I think they'll be able to cover you a lot more than the Gators did. I like the Bills Mafia's front seven against your front seven. Going to be a great matchup. I'm thinking low scoring game. I'm thinking 21-14. I'm taking the Bills.
Man, I just feel like Coach Sims is putting foot to ass this week and making those players concentrate. And I think the Ravens are to come out and be undefeated still. And the Bills Mafia is going to go 3-3. I'm taking the Ravens.
Fred, I'm not smoking. I told you, I'm a sucker for underdog. I want to see if somebody can knock off the king. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I want to see if somebody can do it.
Next, we have Sin City Bucks at 2-3 versus the 4-1 Michigan Gators. Chris, I think the Bucks are struggling. I don't think this is the week they make a reprieve and they come back and win. I'm taking the Gators to go 5-1 and the Bucks to continue on that struggle bus for another week.
I think, honestly, usually I would go against you when it comes to the Bucks because I got love for my man, Coach Rondé and Money Mike over there. But I gotta agree with you. I don't think they travel well for this game. I think Michigan Gators are upset because they basically, excuse my French, pissed down their leg last week and could have really finished that game strong and actually won. And they're gonna want to prove themselves again. So I'm gonna go with the Gators, man. I'm gonna go with the Gators in this one.
Next game we have is the Flag City Phantoms versus the Glass City Tigers. Is this our pick for 2A game of the week, or are we going to hold off and see what else we have?
No, this is our pick for 2A of the week, just rivalry week. Even though the Glass City is a 3A team, this is the number one team in our 2A division. So this is definitely going to be our 2A game of the week. It's rivalry week for both teams. There's nothing but 15, I wouldn't even say 15 miles separating these two teams. I got Flag City winning. Injuries have really killed Glass City this year in major positions. And until they get those key players back, I think they're going to continue to struggle. I think the Phantoms actually found themselves in the game against the Pit Bulls, honestly. I think the Pit Bulls smacking them early and forcing them to dig deep actually was the kick in the ass that they needed, personally. So I'm definitely going to take the Phantoms in this one.
I agree. I think like you said, injuries are plaguing Glass City Tigers right now. We couldn't talk to Coach Henderson about it because he probably got tied up at practice, but hopefully they had.
Wife, her birthday was yesterday. She might be caught up with that too.
That's true. You know how injuries are, man. We've seen it with the Pit Bulls. When you have injuries and you don't have your starters in and you don't have high numbers, you struggle. I think the Flag City Phantoms not only go 5-0, but they beat the 3A team this week.
That'll be worth some points.
Next game makes my heart hurt to even talk about it. Poor old Lima Warriors, but they're on the back end of victory. I feel it, just not this week.
It's not this week. After talking to Mark and seeing the new rankings and seeing how high Southern Indiana Bobcats was ranked, and knowing that they're definitely just about to go through a coaching change as well. Sometimes if you're bringing in new coaches that are not already in the building, it does take at least a week for people to get adjusted. You might be switching people around to new positions, things of that nature. So, unfortunately, Brian, we're not going to get our win this week from Lima. So, going with the podcast.
Hey, hell could freeze over. No offense, Lima. And I know Viking Riders in the chat. No offense,
Hey,
Viking
I would be happy if they proved us wrong. I wouldn't say I wouldn't be mad about that.
Bobcats are a tough team. They have a lot of weapons. I just don't think Lima is there yet. And I'm sorry about that graphic. It says Northern Kentucky Wolfpack. I didn't mean to. I forgot to change it for some reason. I apologize for that. It's been a long week.
Give them hell, Lima. Give them hell.
Next game, the Northern Kentucky Wolfpack takes on the Evansville Elite. I know the rankings had Evansville Elite ranked kind of high in the top 20. I don't feel it, man.
I don't see it, Brian.
I don't feel it.
I don't see it either.
Excuse my language. They were a shit show. They were a shit show when they played the Wolfpack. The Cheetahs, the West Side Cheetahs. God rest the Cheetahs. And I'm just not impressed with them. I think if the Wolfpack comes out, smacks them in the mouth a couple times in the first quarter, this game could get ugly. And by ugly, I mean on the bad end of some penalty flags against the elite. And I think the Wolfpack comes out, and if they put up 50, I'll be happy because, I'm just not impressed with the elite. And I think at least I hope they're playing at home because the elite's field was dumpster juice.
Hey, Fred Smith said he got Wolfpack by 20. Fred, yep. I'll see your 20 and I'll say 21. I definitely got the Wolfpack winning. They're gonna go on. This will be their 4th game winning in a row. They already won the last 3. They got guys coming back. They've gotten rid of the cancer. Just starting to buy into what the coaches are doing, what the owner is selling. Haven't been getting a lot of penalties. They have came out of the basement as the PFA's redheaded stepchild and have been winning ever since. So I'm going to jump on that train. In Evansville, you didn't show me much. So Wolfpack roll, and they roll big.
I mean, they did spank the Cheetahs, but what does that say?
Nothing. It's not saying anything, Brian.
But I will say, if the Wolfpack is watching, stay composed. Keep your head in the game. Don't do anything stupid. Don't get any stupid penalties because I'm feeling like the elite will goat you guys into penalties that you don't need to get and beat the brakes off of them. I think that's what's going to happen. So that's my pick. If I'm wrong, Wolfpack, I won't pick you again for the rest of the year. Swear I won't. So don't let me down, man.
And if you're wondering, the Rams and the Pit Bulls have byes this week.
Both got forfeit wins.
Scheduling issues. Nobody wanted to smoke with the Rams. We've been asking for somebody to fill that game for months now. Nobody wanted to smoke with them. The bye week for the Pit Bulls is because of the Cheetahs forfeiting their season. So, like we said, Pit Bulls have been through enough during the regular season, the gauntlet. So they definitely needed a bye week to try to regroup, get some guys back off of injury. So that's why those 2 teams are not playing, and we only have those games available. It's going to be a great week, a great weekend of football. Nonetheless, that Ravens game, we definitely want to be tapped into that. Shout out to National Players Association Rankings, who does the lives for those games. We're definitely going to tap in on his stream on Saturday to catch that game. You definitely want to tap into the Phantoms game as well to see how that game goes with GCT. But other than that, man, we're going to have some great games. It's been a great show tonight, man. We talked about a lot. We released a lot. 2 hours tonight. Right?
Almost 2 hours, yep. Fred, they already played each other. The Pit Bulls and the Rams played each other week 2. But we'd like to thank all of our guests.
PTA came out on top. I want to say they beat it by like 21, 28. It was.
I can tell you the score. I have it right. Let me look here.
It was pretty bad.
42-6.
Yes.
So I'd like to thank all of our guests. That was a part of the episode 15 of the rundown. Aaron Sanders of the Flag City Phantoms, Mike Anderson, owner and player of the Michigan Bills, Jeff Schick, offensive coordinator of the Racine Raiders, also Mark Garcia for dropping those rankings for us. We'll be back next week on Thursday, live on Facebook. We're trying to give Facebook another chance. Zuck called us.
Prove us right. Prove us right, people. You know what I'm saying? The chat, Facebook, all our supporters. We're going back to Facebook. We like I said, we got 1.5 followers on Facebook. We coming back to y'all, do the live shows. When we go live on Thursdays, don't let us down, man. Come into the chat, talk to us. We appreciate the interaction with you guys. We will, if you got questions, we see what you're saying. We'll pop up on the screen. We'll say it for you. So please, man, next Thursday, jump onto the live, 7 o'clock. Be there, be square. As always, I'm Chris Cousins. My man in crime, Brian Mitchum. Hey, it's the rundown. Catch us as you can.